Each time Dr. Ajedu came to visit, he made the same attempt until she finally caved in. Folly was always in and out of Arya's home. He sometimes spent the night in his room when they talked till late. On one of the days, he thought he saw the doctor pass a suggestive glance at Agnes. Foley felt uncomfortable. It happened again another day, and Foley confronted her.
What's going on between you and Dr. Ajedu?
Foley, what are you insinuating? What could possibly happen between me and my husband's doctor?
I know Dr. Ajedu's bad reputation with the nurses.
I'm not a nurse. Foley?
You are an easy prey, Agnes. He will feed on your vulnerability. That man will have to stop coming here.
And what reason will you give Arya? Why would you want to create a scandal? Why would you want to spread unfounded rumors about me? Whilst you think you are shaming me, you would be hurting your brother as well. I love my husband, and I will not betray him.
Foley became a little busy with Gina's shop, and he put the doctor's issue at bay. Yar had also gained admission into the university, and she had turned into a very beautiful girl. She was her mother's best friend. They shared everything together, clothing and shoes, and all that mattered in their lives. They consoled each other when they were low in spirits concerning the head of their family. Arya was also beginning to accept his condition and prayed he would have the wisdom and will to propel his construction business to prosperity, even if he was reduced to a wheelchair. Yar came home on her first vacation and took her father's breakfast to him with a demand. She wanted one of the cars to learn how to drive.
I have friends to teach me, and we'll be going for rides like we used to.
Arya agreed to her request. Her father would agree to anything she asked of him, provided it was of the utmost necessity. So Arya asked Moses to teach her. The doctor continued his home care routine to see Arya. This time Agnes happily welcomed him, and they were all over each other before he went in to see her husband, and afterwards. Although Agnes deeply felt guilty, and with a feeling of disgust washing over her whenever the doctor walked out of the door, she seemed to enjoy every bit of the illicit romance, and she looked forward to it somehow. Her guilt brought tears and a deep shame. Was her conduct a feeling of an emotional detachment from her husband? Did he not shower her with love and all that she needed from a loved one, even in his state? Was her acceptance of the doctor's lustful advances a deeper yearning to heal her distress over her husband's predicament? She loved her husband so much she would not put him through any further distress. It greatly hurt her to see the vibrant man she knew confined to a wheelchair. She hurt to see his pained and embarrassed expression of helplessness every time they cleaned him up. She would sit by him, sometimes stretch by his side on the bed to chat. Moses would hear them laughing from his outhouse and nod with approval. He was glad his cousin's wife was not like other women who would abandon their husbands when they were in a bad situation. One mid-morning, the doctor came while Arya was reading. He did the normal routine check and left the room. This time, Agnes was in her bedroom. He went in and had his way with her. When he left, Agnes showered and took in her husband's lunch, looking pained. Arya put down the book he was reading and cleared his throat. Agnes's heart skipped a beat. This time the doctor keeps long before leaving. What has he been doing?
Sometimes I give him lunch.
That's kind of you, he commended, looking closely at his wife. She seemed to avoid his eyes, but he felt no reason to distrust her. During the course of the month, Yar came home unexpectedly on a weekday. "It's midweek," Uncle Moses said to her.
Yeah, I suddenly missed Dad. Can I pick a flower for Mummy?
"Why not? The flowers look as beautiful as you." She found the front door unlocked. She knew her mother to be a security fanatic. Maybe she was at the backyard. She went out again to ask her uncle. The doctor was with her father, he told Yar.
But where is his car?
He came in a taxi. So Ya went into her father's room, hoping to see the doctor there. Her father seemed to be sleeping. She closed the door quietly, holding up the flower. It would bring some cheer into her mother's recent sullen mood. She opened her door quietly and slowly. The sight that met her eyes froze her to the spot, but she recovered quickly. She was not careful with the door, and the two people on the bed turned just in time to see her closing the door. Agnes's jaw dropped, pushing the doctor off her. How would she explain this to her daughter? She quickly dressed up and went out, urging the doctor to get out of the house. She went to find her daughter. Ya had run into her father's room. She woke him up.
Dad, I'm home.
Why?
I miss you. I have no lectures for the whole day and half of tomorrow.
She picked a book and read the title.
Is this interesting?
Very. I'm on the last chapter. Where's your mother?
I haven't seen her yet.
Does she notice the doctor leaving by way of the back door? Moses saw the doctor as well. He lifted his brow, chuckling. What in heaven's name had he missed all this while? That is the ticket. Agnes and the doctor, the villain. He swore to confront him the next time he set his eyes on him, but there would not be a next time. Agnes called Dr. Ajedu and terminated his services right after he left. Is it because your daughter came upon us? He asked. Don't give up on us too soon.
Can you hear yourself talk? I am doing this shameful thing to my husband with his doctor under his roof. Please don't come here anymore.
You can't do that. I will have to tell your brother-in-law why you are terminating my appointment, your reputation, and mine.
We'll find another doctor.
Oh, a younger one? He'd better be as good as I am or better in every wise. Agnes ended the call instantly. She had made a terrible mistake. She should have stopped this unholy union before it got to this. Agnes panicked when she entered Arya's room and saw Ya there. She fussed around her husband and sat down in a chair next to him. Ya went into her room and remained there until she was ready to go back to school. Agnes could die of shame. Ya called Foley from school and told him to get another doctor for her father, without giving any reason. Foley was in Arya's house the next day. She quizzed Agnes until she confessed to what happened.
Do you need a man that bad to be so careless your daughter came upon you? That is shameful.
Agnes did not respond. She was too ashamed to speak.
If you need a man, I'll be there for you from now on.
What are you saying?
Yes, I'll get rid of Dr. Ajedu, and you can have me all to yourself.
What a disgusting thing to say. I know you have always been a pervert. Shame on you.
You dare insult me.
He threatened to tell her husband what she had been doing under his roof for the past year. In her guilt and shame, she begged Foley not to break up their home.
When do you go to the market?
Agnes went to the market of Thursdays, and that was the day Foley scheduled for them to meet in a hotel away from their suburb, or he would report her to Arya. She agreed, hoping to talk him out of whatever he planned doing with her. Dr. Ajedu was fired, and a younger one took over. Ya continued to ignore her mother. On vacations, she and Uncle Moses got her father into the car without much difficulty and rode through the streets of the city. They went to his construction firm as well, called his staff out to greet them. His assistant was handling business perfectly, and he could sleep and wake without a thought. One afternoon, Ya decided to visit a long-time classmate who had not been able to further her education. Lena sold bread at a junction near the Twilight Hotel.
Hey, Lena.
She called out. They made so much noise, everyone around turned to stare at them. When it was time for Ya to leave, Lena almost forgot to tell her she had been seeing her mother go into the Twilight Hotel alone and came out alone every Thursday.
I'm sure she has a friend there. She goes to the market on Thursdays, and I hate to go with her. It's too noisy in markets.
They bade each other goodbye and promised to meet more often. In the taxi, Ya shook her head at her mother's obstinacy, so her mother had continued to meet the doctor in a hotel. They must have fallen in love. Ya decided to ascertain the facts about her mother's visits to the hotel. Going to the hotel separately was Folly's idea. He was careful not to attract attention to them. Ya followed her mother as soon as she left the house. She sat on a garden chair outside, well hidden from sight. A security guard came to drive her away for loitering, but she convinced him she was waiting for her uncle. Just then she saw Foley's car draw up. She was happy to see him. She would tell him about her mother's meetings at the hotel with the doctor, and they would both catch her red-handed. But suddenly, she was hesitant. He walked briskly into the hotel. Soon her mother came in, looking a bit dejected. Ya left the hotel not knowing what to do. Lena had not come to her stand yet, so she crossed the road and sat at a bus stop opposite the hotel. She should have gone home, but she waited for no apparent reason. After an hour, she looked towards the hotel, just in time to see her mother come out to hail a taxi. Foley also drove out 5 minutes later. Then it all fell into place. It was not the doctor, it was Uncle Foley.